All right, good morning everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I know it's been a little minute since I've put out a video, and that is only because I've just been working quite a lot recently. I've been buying a bunch of stuff for the van. Today, particularly, we are going to be trying to put in the new shocks because this thing is, let me just show you. Look at this. So anytime I drive over a bump or I'm backing out of the driveway or I even just step inside, it's quite bouncy, which is pretty indicative that the shocks are worn out. And I took a peek under the van and they look pretty busted. So I wanted to go ahead and put some new ones in. I did some scouring on eBay and I believe I was able to find a set of shocks that will fit. So let me show you those real quick. All right, so these are the new ones here. These are for the rear. These will be for the front. So they're not exactly for the model of my van, but they are for, I believe it's like a 93 Toyota T100, which is like the little pickup trucks. So based on my research and asking some eBay sellers, these should be the right ones. So let's see about getting the old ones off. All right, so start with the front ones first. Let's go ahead and get this thing jacked up. All right, so I got the car jacked up with a couple jack stands as well for safety factor. And let's go ahead and get these wheels off and start taking these shocks off. So these lugs are 21 millimeter, and got my impact here. Go ahead and get these off. All right. Might as well check the brake pads while I'm here. Yeah, they still got lots of life on them. And the rotors feel actually really good as well. Not a lot of ridges or scratching or whatever it's called, and the lips don't feel worn either, so I think we're good there. And this is our shock right here. So all it is, I believe, is just that top nut and then that bottom nut right there. So let's go ahead and get those off. Okay, so after a few minutes of wrenching and PB blasting, we've gotten both of these off. So this was a 14 millimeter on the top, and this bottom one was a 17. So with those removed, I think we can, let's see, take this guy out for a moment. Put that there. Let's see. Got this little piece off from right there. And then I think we should be able to, yep, there we go. Get the old one off. Check that out, man. That thing is toast. Jeez. Let's see if I can squish it down. I can't even squeeze it anymore because I grabbed on it too much with the pliers, but all right, let's go ahead and grab the new one and hope that it fits. And here's the new one right here, side by side with the old one. So it's actually a bit longer and a bit thicker, actually a lot thicker on the bottom than the old one. So I'm not sure if that will be an issue, but we will find out in just a minute. So let's go ahead and try and put this one on. All right, so I was able to get this one to fit. I did have to do a bit of grinding on either side of the bottom part because it was actually a bit too wide for those rabbit ears right there, but I was able to grind it down just a bit and it fit pretty perfectly. And got that bottom bolt torqued to about 100 foot-pounds based on what I found online, and I just tightened that nut above until those bushings sort of just became flush with the outer edge of that washer. So we'll go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side and move on to the back. All right, and the other side is done. So yep, just did the same thing, torqued that bolt down there. So we'll go ahead and get the wheels back on and move the jack to the rear and get those done as well. Okay, so now I have the back jacked up here, and I've just, let's see, there's the shock right there, and I've just taken out the top bolt and the bottom bolt. They're these washer bolts here, and they're actually identical, although I will still put them back the same way that they were in, just to be sure. So this will be the top, and this will be the bottom. So go ahead and yank this thing out of here, and see if the new one will fit. So I've got the new one next to the old one here. I compressed the old one in to see if it would expand out again, and it is just stuck. So that definitely explains why the ride was so bouncy. It wasn't absorbing any of the bumps or anything like that. Compared to the new one, which whenever you push it in, it starts to expand back out slowly as it should. So we'll get rid of this one and go ahead and slap this new one on. Might have to take a little bit of this rubber off the sides, but we'll see. I'll get back to you when I've got it on. All right, so it got a little dark, but as you can see, I got the new one on. So, well, I did have to shave off some material from the sides on that bottom piece there, but ended up fitting well. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll be all finished. All right, and we have finished the last side, the right rear. So now I've got all 4 of them done. So we'll go ahead and take it on a drive and see if it drives any differently. So just took it for a spin, and it is certainly riding a lot better. I think the biggest thing that I notice is when I'm going over speed bumps, it doesn't bob forward and backwards like as many times. It kind of just, bounces once and then levels out. But before, it was like rocking back and forth really bad. And also, like, whenever I'd back out of my driveway, it would rock back and forth really bad. And there's definitely a big improvement. Also, like when I'm stepping inside the actual back of the camper, it doesn't, sag or bounce as bad as before. It's definitely a big improvement. So I'm very glad to have gotten this done. Next up, in terms of maintenance, is going to be transmission fluid change, differential fluid change, and transfer case fluid change as well. And then I also just got a brand new DC fridge that I'm planning on putting in. I have my diesel heater that I need to put in as well, and my air conditioning unit, which I've also been meaning to put in. So a lot more videos on the way. And again, I apologize for not having uploaded one in quite a while. It's just been busy with work. Um, but that's no excuse. I'll have a lot more videos coming your way. I appreciate you guys watching. I will catch you in the next one.